Following material contains strong language and adult content. Please be advised.
This is the Comfortably Poor Podcast, an uncensored, wide open, anything and everything goes podcast. You won't find anything like it. And why is that? Because the Comfortably Poor Podcast keeps it 100. Let's go.
Yay! Another Sunday.
Happy quarantine, America.
On the books. Wow. That is a redneck Hispanic, if I've ever heard one. Happy quarantine, America. Woo!
We're going to have a rootin' tootin' good time today. Woohoo!
This fucking guy. It is a
I'm American,
Poor
baby.
Podcast,
I'm all
people.
American. I would have been a trucker if I had stuck. Just gotta stop at a couple rest stops, get a couple blowies by some awful fucking trucker wives.
Redneck Colombian. You always talk about he's country as fuck. So that must be.
Hell yeah, bro.
You get it.
Shit in the wilderness, right?
Proud of it.
Got a white
Proud Colombian heritage. You want to join us? Excuse me. You want to join us in on anything that we're going to be talking about for the next 2 hours or so? Hashtag Comfortably Poor on Twitter. That's where you can chat with us live, ask your questions. Again, hashtag Comfortably Poor. Phone lines are live and open right now, 844-997-0775 or local 442-244-9900. Join in. Help us get some more listener interaction. We appreciate that. It's fun. It's good for everybody. So you got something on your mind? Anything. No judgment here. We are a no judgment zone. We want to hear what's on your mind, what you've been doing during this quarantine. So, fuck with us. How's quarantine going for you guys?
Also, real quick, I just wanted to get this stuff out of the way. We are all over the place. Yep. You can have your pick. You can watch us on Facebook, Periscope, YouTube, or Twitch. And we're trying to build that community over there. So make sure that your friends are following us. Twitch.tv/CPPod100. Just like all the other social media pages, just to give a quick plug there. Shout out to you guys. I know that between Adam and I, we've been working to get you guys some podcast episodes, so you finally will get some stuff this week. We're back to content. I'm super excited. Some really funny shit coming out tomorrow, too. So
and
stay tuned for that.
I think everybody's obvious coronavirus is taking over the world, so it's tough, man. It's tough for these content creators to find shit to bullshit about, so that's kind of why the podcasts have taken a back burner.
Yeah, and I don't blame them. Dude, everybody, you can get fucking corona updates everywhere else. We don't want to be the one podcast that you have to feel like you have to come to.
Speaking of coronavirus,
what happened?
I think we Coronavirus 2020 by the Comfortably Poor Podcast. Update.
Thank you, Adam.
From
really
Brando Collins.
Fucking right.
Yeah, he just slams his dick on the table. That's his intro. Just his big horse cock on the fucking table. Just slam. Just, hey, everybody.
So here's some good news. Cuomo is actually announcing that deaths in New York are dropping for the first time. That's always good to hear. The counterpoint to that is that Trump says that next week is actually going to be the worst because deaths are going to continue to rise even as we stabilize the amount of cases that we have in the States. What a fucking counterpoint, right?
Well, yeah, and there were already charts. A lot of people, if you were looking into this stuff beforehand, a couple weeks ago, there were already charts that were drawn up saying that April 7th is our breaking point. That's the April day. 7th. Yes, sir. This coming up Tuesday is the day. Is like, yeah, that's the peak of where like the most deaths are gonna happen. This next week is gonna be a motherfucker.
It's gonna be a motherfucker, and so I don't blame Trump for saying it, but like the way Trump comes out and says certain things, it's just like, whoa, holy shit, doc.
Well,
and then
you know what
another-
it is? It is.
Oh, sorry, go
I
ahead.
think what makes it worse, it's different if he didn't say it was a hoax at first. Nobody would be looking
a
at
hoax.
that crazy if this man didn't say it was a fucking hoax. When he was already briefed about this, and the Pentagon was briefed about this. Did you see this report? That the Pentagon was briefed about this type of illness in 2017, and nothing was done. They were warned that we were going to run out of ventilators and masks and shit during this influenza type shit, and the government did not a thing.
Well, and you know, Fauci agrees. It's like our cases are stabilizing, but the amount of deaths is going to continue to rise. According to Trump, next week is going to be the worst though for deaths. So I guess we'll find out how that turns out. Now, there's another story here where Biden is pretty much saying that the Democrats are going to have to do a virtual convention, obviously for the obvious reasons. I mean, they can't get up close and personal, of course. And then I don't know how,
Unless you're Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders telling them to vote in your primaries. But there's
we can
that.
hope. We can hope. Just reach out and touch someone. You know, hopefully a ballad. There's also there was an accident where there were 5 corona cases brought to the hospital ship Comfort. I don't know if you guys remember the hospital ship Comfort was brought.
That's
off the
supposed
coast
to
of
be for
non-corona
patients,
people.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be for, and they accidentally brought 5 on there. So that's a
Jesus
clusterfuck.
Christ. Hey, the scary thing too is I was talking with my lady about this too. That aircraft carrier that's getting more and more cases that they let that captain go is like, that's just circulated air. That's crazy because it's like 5,000 people on that thing too. Like, that's a big one if they don't get that under control. There's that aircraft carrier could be taken over by it too.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like, and I haven't actually seen any more about the ship off the coast of Panama, but I maybe it finally got to dock in Florida. I'm not sure exactly where, but that was some more than 1,000 stranded people. You know, I don't know if anyone remembered that case, but 4 people had already died.
Which one? The cruise ship?
The cruise ship, yeah.
Oh,
You remember they weren't letting it through the Panama Canal? I wonder what's happening with that.
right.
Hadn't heard anything about it. So, that's the
You guys know what
notable corona
COVID-19
news.
stands for?
Coronavirus 19.
Coronavirus disease 19.
Oh yeah, disease 19. Yeah.
I wanted to say this too for the celebrities, for the celebrity side. Did you see your girl Pink had it? And
her child.
Really?
and her child.
And her 3-year-old.
But here's why I have respect for fucking Pink, right? So last week I had a rant on the show about celebrities, you know, being in our faces about how they got tested and all this fucking crazy shit, you know? She didn't fucking say anything about having it until she was recovered. If you're a celebrity, that's what you should be doing. Okay?
Agreed.
Tell me when you're recovered. Tell me after it's all said and fucking done. I don't want to hear that you have symptoms. I really don't. So I have a lot of respect for her. Thank you, Pink, and I'm so glad that you overcame that shit. And I think her son is going to be totally all right. But that's the way to do it. If you're a celebrity, I really don't want to hear that you have symptoms. I want to hear that you recovered from it because of your millions and billions of dollars.
Yeah, agree.
If it works.
It didn't work for some.
Yeah, I know, right? Shit, your millions and billions didn't get you far, bitch. Yeah.
Right? You might be able to ride a PJ, but that coronavirus gonna get you, baby.
That's a tall glass. No.
Oh, man, this Roni's nuts.
But that's really the notable news that we're going to cover. I mean, all the rest of it, I mean, people are bitching at governors for not
The rest of
doing
it you
more.
can find.
Some governors are just, yeah.
And a lot of this
I mean,
place is local.
it's
A lot of this
complaining,
news is
honestly.
local because of what your local governments are doing, right? So certain places have extreme lockdowns. Certain places have fucking curfews. Certain places have fucking, church services. Hello, Florida. Shout out to you. They okayed church services.
Look,
Very
certain
nice.
Places like Arizona actually have open hair salons.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So,
Hashtag
but
states'
look,
rights.
I want to say this, and I agree with states' rights, but
I agree
man,
with
that's a
states'
lot of
rights to
blood
a
on your
point.
hands.
I agree with states' rights to a point, but
That's a lot of blood on your
fucking
fucking
problem
hands.
with states' rights, and this is one of them. Like in situations like this, states' rights need to go out the window. States' rights was also. Let's also keep in mind that states' rights is also the reason how we had slavery in one part of the country and not in the other. So yeah,
Slave rights is why I cannot get legal marijuana in
slave rights. Yeah, my man says slave rights.
State rights.
I'm sorry.
Good catch. I didn't hear that.
Slave rights are the reason I can get marijuana. Pick that fucking
Woo!
slave rights. That's why I can have weed.
This is my water fountain.
Oh god.
But states' rights is what stops me from getting legal marijuana in New Jersey. So I totally get that. You know what I'm saying? We would definitely stop the drug problem if some of these things were completely relied just on federal
At the
laws.
federal level. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just gonna jump right into this since you brought up church. Our friend,
Kenny.
we are big fans.
Oh, my man Ken.
Big fans
Ken.
of Cowboy Ken.
Oh,
Cowboy Ken.
Cowboy Ken.
This could be your official spot to get Kenneth Copeland updates.
This guy's my. I'm gonna end up loving this guy.
This guy.
He's gonna make us a lot. He might make us a lot of money. Honestly, he really might.
I'm telling you.
It's going around right now. TMZ put it out this morning. Everyone's put it out this morning. But he believes that he can do away with the coronavirus by the wind of God. And it's pretty good shit. So.
Almighty. Strong. South wind.
South?
Heat. Burn this thing. In the name of Jesus.
Who's these stooges
Satan, you
repeating?
I don't
Is
know.
this a
They
Klan
don't
rally?
sound very excited about it, honestly.
You fall on your face. COVID-19.
Why are they saying
Oh yeah!
On you. You are destroyed forever. And you'll never be back. Thank you, our God.
Thank you, Marco? What did he say?
Cause it to happen.
Oh my
He's saying thank yous to the narcos.
Oh my God, that made me laugh so hard. He said, "Pooh," and it's gone.
What the?
Nothing to worry about ever again. The COVID-19.
It's like this is a legit like poof
Wow.
and it's
Yeah.
gone scenario. Oh, that's so good.
Dude, that's the thing that gets me, dude.
Well-
and Christians have the nerve to not like Harry Potter. I don't know where you get off.
Right.
About the tone.
Here's the
And
thing.
it's so funny.
Here's
It's
what
like
I got to
he's
say
trying
about
to
this. Though.
obey the law right now, and I think he only had like 10 people in there. Like no more.
That's
than
why I
10.
sounded, yeah.
Social
Because they
distancing.
sounded so dejected. Like, normally, if you hear a preacher making church and say something, they sound crazy, loud, and rowdy.
They sound nuts.
But these niggas today, they sounded like they just got out of bed. They didn't want to be there. I mean, they sound
Those
depressed.
are the niggas that sit in a rocking chair with their Bible, and they have a noticeable shake to their voice every time they speak.
And their hands.
In their hands, yes. Yes. So there was a pastor on the Breakfast Club this week,
Oh,
and
Oh, no.
Charlemagne asks, what do you think God is trying to do with sending this message? And I just fucking just cringe so hard at that, because religion bothers me to the point where everything is definitely, and we've talked about this before, but everything is drawn up to concede to the conclusion in which you're totally wanting to see. You get what I'm saying? So like,
Brainwash.
the fucking pastor has the nerve to say, yeah, I don't think this was sent by God. I think evil does live in our world. I think evil does exist, and I think this was just sent by evil, right?
Ugh.
That's only because it's affecting us. Because if this shit stayed in China, they would be saying stuff like, God didn't give it to us. He cares about us. He loves us. He protects us. God didn't bring that here. He kept that to China, with all the stuff that they do and all the terrible things that they do and blah, blah, blah. That's what would be said. But because it's affecting us directly, they don't want to believe that their God is responsible for sending this fucking virus here. I think that's just absolutely beautiful, but it just bothered me that such a huge platform would give way to a person like that who is literally feeding into, that idea. It's like, dude, either way, you're going to try to figure out how to make your God not the problem.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're never going to say God sent this to kill his kids.
No, just rapists and pedophiles and serial killers. That's all.
It's just so strange though that
No big
it's
deal.
supposed to kill all those people, but like the virus is targeting people's grandmothers, right? Like primarily
Exactly.
sick people, like sick people and disadvantaged people and infants. Like, what are we doing, guys?
I don't know, but I always love the Ken update.
There's been a lot of
We need
them
a full
lately,
series
and
of this.
It's been real good. Real good.
I don't want to ride in a tube with demons.
Demons.
I love that guy. The best.
Yeah, it's good times. Good old Kenneth Copeland.
I never
Maybe
said that. Don't you ever say
work
I
him
did.
into The Sunday live stream.
Also,
That's what
hold
it's
on,
got.
let
We
me
got to have
please
our
pray.
Sunday sermon or something from Kenneth Copeland on our live shows. Sunday
sermon with
bullshit
Ken. Mm-hmm.
sermon. Cowboy Ken.
so I was really bored the other day. This quarantine's got me fucking bored, right?
Everybody, yeah.
And honestly, like,
Fucking
I
everybody.
hate that word. Like, I really don't believe in boredom. I don't think that boredom can exist nowadays. I feel like
Why?
with YouTube and
'Cause
everything, there's
at your
so
fingertip-
much.
fingertips.
Yeah,
Finger
dude.
dicks, but
I kind of think I kind of agree with that. I mean, I do get bored. but
I mean,
think
like,
the
if
reason
you
I get
don't
bored is 'cause I'm
find
not
something
trying
to
hard
do,
enough.
but
you're
do
just
you
choosing
ever
not
get
to
bored
find
of
something.
the internet?
Yes, but then when I
fe-
get bored of the internet,
yes
then
and
I go
no, but
exercise and I go
the
outside and
internet-
I go do other stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No, the internet holds content for me in which I can swift through content now. So, like, I might want to watch some dumb, pointless, brainless fucking prank videos like you played earlier. And so if I'm bored, that's
Thanks for
how I'm
pointing
probably
out my
passing the
content
time.
that I watch.
Or huh? But I'm watching either podcasts or political shit. Jimmy Dore, Kyle Kalinske, fucking Rogan, Diaz. I mean, I'm just swifting through that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then, when I am bored or I am kind of just like, I need to fucking clear my brain or whatever, I'll just watch some mindless bullshit. What prank videos to vlogs to
That's pretty much what I
looking
watch
up
every
beats.
day. That's my go-to.
I'm telling you, right? That's funny. So, the other day I got super bored and I was already kind of like, I'm just annoyed with politics right now. And then, all the podcasts are kind of just talking to their friends. Like Rogan had a bunch of his friends on this past week, and I'm just like, I'll catch up on that stuff later, So I don't really have much content to sit with right now. So the other day, something had made me think about one of the conversations we had about a gym teacher that I had that was arrested for selling coke to a student later on.
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't my teacher at the time, but he was still in the education system. Well, I decided to look up teachers in my district and see who was still there and who wasn't. Because there are a few high school teachers that actually passed away within the last 2 years. I knew about, and some that retired.
Hold on. How high were you? You went to go look up
Not high at all.
teachers from your
Not high at all.
School? Wow. Okay.
Not high at all.
Really
That's the
has hit a
problem.
brick wall right now. Okay.
No, dude.
Go
I'm
ahead.
telling you.
The internet.
If you want to talk about extreme boredom, let's talk about real boredom. Don't give me no bullshit about how you sit in front of your TV and watch some bullshit and you're bored. I'm going to give you some really bored shit to do. Look up to see if teachers work in your school still, if certain teachers that you had working in your school still. Because I'm always fascinated that there are people who keep the same position for 30 plus years. Like the woman, there was two teachers that I can think about right now that worked in my high school when I was a student that also worked there in the 80s when my mom was a student in that high school. And I think that shit is just fascinating sometimes that, generations can be passed down like that. Because my cousin went there, graduated in 2006. I graduated after that, and then my brother graduated after me at the same school. So 4 of us went to the same school in the family. And it's a big high school, so wild shit. We had some people play for the Niners
at
there.
a young enough age, right out of college or something. Like, does it make her be in her 60s, 70s, or like
I think
like
I don't
80s,
see.
like-
I guess 50s, 60s, 70s, right? Like right before or near retirement age, and then there are some people that will retire and that won't retire. But I think more so, what's fascinating to me, not that they're teaching still, because there are some people who love working, and there are some people who are going to work to their fucking 80s and 90s. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Yeah.
You just have some of those people in our life, but more so to the fact that the way that jobs are and how much people move around and shit, I would just expect people to not be in the same place after 10 years. Like I graduated almost 10 years ago, and that's what I'm trying to say. Like, there are some people who still work there, and I just feel like, man, I thought you would have been somewhere else by now. Like,
What do you mean
just
somewhere
can't
else?
see
Like
that.
retired or a different job?
A different
or
job,
moved up
a
in the
different school.
ranks?
School, I mean.
School, yeah. Like
School.
going from
Moving
middle
up the
school
ranks or,
to high school to college.
like I can think of like a 7th grade teacher that I had. She's not working there now, but I know that after I left, when I was in high school, I had found out that a math teacher that I had in 7th grade ended up being the vice principal. The vice principal retired, and that kind of move up, like either in positions in the same school or
What is the move
I
for
just
a
expect
teacher
a move.
as a teacher? Like,
I think
I
think from classroom to
really you
office,
go from
right?
teacher to vice prin. Yeah, exactly. Administrative, vice principal,
which
county,
kind of
local,
like boggles my
whatever.
mind a little bit, because that
Superintendent,
office
that's
stuff
what
is
you do.
more administrative assistant than it is teaching. And if you go to college for teaching, isn't that kind of like a waste?
Yeah. I mean, I
Like,
would
I
think
just-
so, but it seems like a lot of principals are former teachers, right? Like,
Well,
it
wait,
seems like
but
a lot
right.
of-
I think it's a waste, maybe as far as the application of your skill sets, but maybe probably not so much as far as money goes.
Money
I'm pretty
goes,
sure
yeah, okay.
principals make
Yeah,
more-
that's
a
true.
little
That's
bit
true.
more
That's
than
true.
Teachers do.
Yeah, because I mean, I feel like if you were a teacher and that's your passion, you might bounce around between the grades. But if you're a math teacher and you really enjoy math and numbers, you might bounce around from 7th, 8th grade to 3rd grade to college kids to high school
Yes,
kids.
yes, exactly.
But you're staying in that lane because that's your passion. That's what you went to school for.
That's what you
if
wanna
went
teach, yep.
To teach, and you have certain certifications that your goal is to teach, educate, and then become the individual who's trying to build up the school as a vice principal, or even a county by becoming a superintendent, then I guess that's what your goals are. But I never really stopped to think about that. Education is really a field where you kind of stay in
It's
your
a
lane.
stagnant choice. It's a static choice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I never
Like,
really stopped to
once
think
you
about that till
pick
just now.
something, and I think it's same thing with doctors, teachers and doctors. Once you,
Yeah.
like,
Lawyers,
because I
maybe
think
a little bit.
you can study specific law, like you can study, entertainment law or whatever. But I think you have a grasp overall of the judicial system enough to be a lawyer for, most other situations.
Right,
So that's
right.
a little more dynamic. That one is a little. It changes. The teaching though in doctors. Once you specialize in something in school, once you finally settle, I mean, you can definitely help on research in other things because you have the medical knowledge.
Development.
But if you fucking studied one specific medical thing in school, like that's your thing.
At your special.
You got to know that for the rest of your fucking life.
Yeah. I guess
You
which
eat,
is good
breathe,
in
and
that
sleep
sense.
teeth as a dentist.
Yeah. And bad breath. I mean, it's interesting to think about because I never really thought about that till you just brought that up. That education or even doctors, education, you specialize, you get your general ed stuff, but maybe you want to be a history teacher. So come college and you're getting your educational credits or certificates, you're going heavy on that history stuff though. You're like, I want to be a history teacher, or math. I want to be a math teacher. Like you're going through math 800 like a freaking civil engineer. Civil engineers do so much math, but as a math teacher, I have a cousin, and I may have talked about her before, that got her degree in math. And she writes
My friend Tanisha, same
math
thing.
books
She got a degree in
for a
fucking
living.
math.
Like I was like, what?
Yeah, I don't get that.
You just write math formulas for a
That's
living.
fucked
But she
up.
could be a teacher too. But that's her specialty. Her specialty is numbers. She loves numbers. She loves math. But yeah, man, I never stopped to think about it. That's crazy. That to me,
Yeah, and
like that would be a super high thought. Like I'd get super stoned and be like,
No,
"Did you know?"
No, dude, that's
that,
the
like-
thing.
No, I'm
Most
saying
of my
for me,
fucking
it
weird
would-
ass shits come
that's
when
what
I'm
I would
like
have.
sober.
I would have that thought. Like if I was super stoned, I'd be like, "Yo, teachers have no movement. Like you stay put. They have one lane."
Well, then
That's
you
it.
know what? Then that just came to my mind about this conversation is that the other way should be the workup, but because we need so many teachers, you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
it can never work. But like the gradual buildup in education should be you start off in the office. You work your way up to the classroom
work your way up
and
to
have
the
that much
classroom,
responsibility with that many little kids. You know what I'm saying?
because that's the
And
standard
shaping
kind
that
of
much
work
life.
pyramid, right? You start at the bottom
Yes.
and you work your way up to the top. Yeah, in theory.
You show your worth to be up at the top. Are you worth teaching these kids and shaping their lives? It should totally be reversed. That's crazy shit.
So does that mean the whole workforce is a giant pyramid scheme?
For the most part, I would say so.
'Cause
Unless
the
you
typical foundation
if you have to
of
study it.
work
If you have
is
to
that
study
you start
it, how
at the
about
bottom
that?
and work your way to the top, right? And the guy above you is always
Yes.
making more than you, and the guy above him is always making more than him, and that's the typical foundation of a pyramid scheme. So
1,000%.
is
And it's the
work
same
in
thing.
life
It's the
a
same.
pyramid scheme.
But see, yeah, I agree. But I also believe, though, that if it's skill based, you can put yourself, you know, if you look for the right opportunity or the right situation, you can put yourself, for example, construction. If you know construction or mechanics, car mechanics from a young age, you know, and you know the right person who, you know, is hiring 20 something an hour because they have a really fucking good business, a huge business, you can put yourself at that 22 and you don't have to worry about not making a little bit of money and working your way up. You already know what you know.
Right.
I think it more so is when it is you have to study it. When it is you have to be like a teacher. When you do have to study business. When you do have to study, I don't know, communications, marketing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't become a marketing director. You start off as a fucking little call center agent, a little piece of shit who gets told what to do. Yeah. Interesting, right?
That really just kind of put my mind in a pretzel there. Only just because I've when you really stop to think about it and break it down like that, which I've never really stopped to break it down like that. But yeah, it's an interesting.
I
thing to stop and think about.
have so much respect for teachers.
And that people
and I never
go to
realized
school
it.
to purposely do this.
Yeah, dude, and I never realized it. Like, until I had a kid, and I know that her life is being shaped by teachers, but more so than ever, like, having to explain hard times to kids. How do you do that? Like, how do you explain this coronavirus shit to a 7-year-old in your second grade class? How do you explain 9/11 to a fucking bunch of third graders? Like,
Because I was actually in fifth grade
crazy.
when 9/11 happened. I don't know, like, I know how my kid is being explained it, like, through her online
But you're talking
classes
about
now.
kids now and moving
I'm
forward.
talking about the shit that's gonna be in
History
in the history books. You know
Well,
what
You
I'm
gotta
saying?
think
Like,
about how teachers
this is
taught
definitely
us
going to
World
be
War
in.
I
I'm
and
going to say
II.
that this is definitely going to be in the history books. Right?
most certainly.
Yeah.
This is
sure.
going to be there.
I mean, Black Plague, Black Plague, and
yeah.
you know, the
The way-
Ebola virus and stuff like that. Those were things that were
The way kids are
hard to-
hearing about it from their teachers is kind of like pretty much the standard scientific explanation.
Yeah.
Like, this is a illness, this is a sickness that can harm you, and it can potentially kill you if you're not careful. These are the people it affects. This is where
But
we
you get
think it
taught
comes
that
from,
as a
so on and so
teacher
forth.
in school, right? You get taught how
I know.
to kind of
Yeah, you get taught how to
carefully
communicate
approach these
certain things
topics.
to different kids, depending on what
Yeah.
age they are in. Yeah.
right.
But I think that's one thing from being a parent and having the knowledge and how to explain something to your kid. I can most certainly explain something to my kid. I'm talking about a teacher in a room full of 20 of those young kids. And those young kids, some of them interpreting it differently, some of them not really understanding, some of them it really scaring the shit out of, some of them, you know what I mean? Like, you're dealing with a range of shit. Like, how do you explain that to little fucking kids? Just a group of them, you know? It's you know, I just
honestly,
think it's
I
such
give-
a responsibility that
I give them the straight honesty. Like,
I think it's just such a responsibility that teachers have that I honestly just admire so much, because I could never do that. I could never be a teacher. I'll teach my kid.
I couldn't be a teacher,
but
for
that's
the
about
money.
the extent of it.
I'm greedy. I'm a
I could
greedy
be a
bitch.
teacher. I could easily be a teacher. I am a teacher. What do I mean?
I
don't have the
teach women
patience.
how to
I don't-
gobble
I don't
this
find
dick.
And what's your Twitter handle again?
Is he all right?
Is
he all right?
Tell him. What's your shit again, bro?
I got a bottle of whiskey
Rock
here for you, buddy. I
503.
can share my
At
whiskey.
Rock
I'm not selfish.
503.
Yeah, I'm not sharing any of this. I'm not drinking this shit. Fuck that shit.
He's a reverse pit bull.
The reverse.
Bites himself.
The bulldog. The bulldog. Oh, man. 844-997-0775. If you got something you want to say, hit us up at CPPod100 across all social media platforms. Twitter is where it's at right now. That's where we're active the most during the live show. Use hashtag comfortably bored, to chat with us live, ask questions. Hit us with some questions like Dan did. What's got your brain in a pretzel these days? That was I like that. That made me think about that for a minute, and I hadn't really ever thought about that like that. So if you got something that's putting your mind in a pretzel, hit us up. Let us know what's on your mind, and we'll bullshit about it. We'll try and solve the problem. I don't think we just solved anything, but we'll break it down and see.
We're just trying to talk and sound smart a little bit. No big deal.
What were we bullshitting about just before when we went live, Dan? We were talking about something, I think, before Brando jumped on here, and I was like, let's save that. Something you had come across on Reddit, I think.
Not the Florida
so
one.
I was No. I was talking about... I was reading
like,
a
I'll
post
get
on
my
Reddit
answer.
this morning about innocent, things that can be passed off or can be kind of perceived as, as sexual.
When they're not.
Yeah, when they're not supposed to be. And somebody brought up something I thought that was really, really interesting. And I wanted to see what you guys thought about it because they brought up a really good point. So this is what they say. They said, trying to make a friend of the opposite sex. Once you're over the age of 25, it's hard to just make friends without it seeming like you're trying to get with them. Here's the source. A friend of mine wanted to befriend a girl that I worked with. He wasn't attracted to her. He just thought she was cool. He asked her to hang out, and she did, and she crashed at his place, and later on told me that she thought it was weird because he didn't try anything with her. But he just really wanted to be friends. And I'm sure that's one out of many other sources they wrote, but it's a great point. It's a great point to really say that, like, once you make friends, I mean, you can talk to people and you can meet people on the way and save numbers and network, but everything is kind of like I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine, I think after 25. That type of,
say that again real quick. What after 25?
That after 25, it's, unless you have really, really big things in common or whatever the case may be, nobody really has the time to kind of like build on a new friendship. You know what I'm saying? Unless they're doing something like we're doing, like a fucking podcast, and they're fucking coming together
like
weekly.
After 25, most people are locked in with their circle already. Their circle is...
Yeah, they already got their circle.
Okay.
They already got their niggas. Their main niggas.
Yep.
The close circle, that internal circle of people that just doesn't change.
Right.
Exactly. And
Those
I
niggas
think
that are always
that's a
gonna be
really
there.
good point to make about this comment here, because what do you guys feel about having friends or having female friends as fellas? Do you have female friends, and do you believe that men should have female friends? Because it gets into this whole talk too, and I want to bring this up.
I think I definitely have female friends like that. We've never had sex. It's just always been that chick you go to. Like, usually your female friends are.
So you can have that friend?
Yeah, I can have
without ever wanting to fuck them?
Sure, like they're not attractive to me. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like they're not ugly or bad looking people. I just have never seen them as
something doesn't click with you guys.
Yeah, exactly. Something
So
does
that's
not
my
fall into
point.
place
So-
there. So but
Okay.
hang on. I'm saying that to say this that
You guys click on a different level.
yeah, we click on the level of mental stimulation, but
Right.
nothing physical could ever come of it because there's something
The dick doesn't
lacking
get
there.
hard.
It just doesn't work. Doesn't work. So but here's the thing though. I think that there are certain types of people who can't do that. Like there are people who cannot do that. Like for me, women, like my female friends are usually the ones that I go to when I want advice about females. If I'm seeing something that just doesn't make sense and I want the female perspective on that angle. Or maybe it's two dudes get into a fight and like, why did this happen? Like from your perspective, like what can you see? Like it's usually a different perspective, a different angle on the whole concept. And that's part of the reason, like even attractive women, there have been some badass women who even it could be a personality quirk where you know yourself so well, like you know that even if you did try something physical, you'd end up wanting to choke this bitch later. So there's just certain people you probably are just better off staying out of bed with. That term curiosity killed the cat. It's a really, really apt term in some cases.
Yeah, I mean, I've got my group. I've got a group of friends. I'm not gonna say a group. I've got a couple female friends that were. It's in that same category as Brando that they clicked on more of a sense of humor, personality level, but not on a physical attraction level. So for me, it was like, yo, we think so alike is so dope. And the crazy part about it is, though, that is a huge physical turn on for me, is if we have that dope connection like that to crack jokes on each other, make each other laugh, all that kind of shit. That's high on my list. But for whatever reason, these females just didn't do it. And we're cool with that. Like, it's never been a thing. So I definitely have a couple where that's my go-to, you know, that's the homie. Like, and she can throw down in a circle of dudes, you know, talking shit with no problems. And that's super dope to me. So I think it's okay. I mean, I think it's rare though too. I don't think a dude finding a female like that, I think is a little bit rare too. I think most of the time.
So
dudes
yeah,
want
and
to hang a chick.
I want to speak on the other side because okay, we all can agree that we can have female friends that we don't have to fuck.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. My bad.
But I do have some buddies that really stand by that, and I have that. There's like,
All right.
I'm never. It's never gonna be just friends with a girl. Like I'm only talking to you because we're fucking or we have something romantic going on.
But you know the females that we're friends with, right? Like
And
or at least the females that I'm friends with, I don't look at them as females. Like, or I don't look at their gender doesn't come into play. Like it's just like that's just they're my friend. Like that's the person I go to crack jokes. That's the person I go to for advice. That's the person I go to bounce ideas off of if I want to test an argument out. That's the person that's good at politics. Like I don't think of them as just that's my female friend. No, this is a person who I enjoy conversing with or talking with or you know, maybe learning to dive with in some cases, rock climb, whatever it might be. But I don't look at them as like, yo, they're female. That adjective doesn't come. They happen to be female, yes. But I'm not thinking like that. And a lot of times, a lot of those females are people we grew up with, people who we met during certain circumstances that might make sex kind of like weird to us all. You know what I mean? I don't know. But I also don't know if I think it's rare. I think a lot of people are just very sexual creatures and there's nothing wrong with that. And so they just see people or see the opposite gender that they're attracted to in a certain light. But I definitely think that you can have females, and you could even have a female that you wanted to have sex with, but you learn some shit about that you don't want to have sex with anymore, but you can enjoy, you know, shooting the shit with her. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think it comes in all shapes and sizes.
Yeah, I think that it's healthy to have both, but I'm also very much so a conversationalist. I like kind of analyzing and picking apart how people think and how people
what's really
analyze
interesting,
things and
though,
perceive
too?
things.
I feel like this is primarily a question for dudes too. Like, I don't think women are like, hey, do you got dudes that you're just trying to be homies with or trying to jump on that pole? Like, I mean, it happens.
Well, because, dude, we've been
women
like
aren't having that conversation as much.
Yeah, but there's a reason for that. I feel like there's a fucking reason.
Yeah,
and the reason
of
is,
because we're
obviously
fucking pigs.
we're pigs, but we've also been reduced.
That's a very female comment.
Of course.
No,
that's what I was
but
trying to make.
we're reduced in the female's mind nowadays. Niggas ain't shit. He a fuckboy. A fuckboy went around for years, right? Like,
yeah, fuckboy. Yo, remember when they was calling niggas Dusty? They called them Dusty.
Dusty, nigga. You dusty, nigga. You dusty. Scrubs, right?
You scrubs,
like, men
scrubs.
have been reduced. Men have been fucking reduced to just pigs. And there are guys who genuinely just want to be friends with you, but we're just so nervous to try to even be friends because we're gonna think that you're gonna try to think that we're trying to fuck you.
But
and I think that's what it is for sure.
There's a problem with that sort of thinking too, though, because there's nothing wrong with a guy who just wants to fuck you. But if you're not up for it, you need to just go ahead and be like, listen, I'm not on the market. I'm not out there doing. If you then be honest. I think that's that in this day and age, honesty is the best policy. If you're not interested, say you're not interested. If you're not on the market, say you're not on the market.
But I think there's more.
If this guy isn't your
now,
type, say that it's
sure.
not your. Say that he or she isn't your type. But like, I don't think there's anything wrong with people being friends. I don't think there's anything wrong with people being sexual. But I think people need to be upfront with their intentions. And that usually is the problem. Communication between human beings is such a shitty thing for most people. Most people are horrible communicators.
What do you think about people who think they can change? And I know we're all going to agree on this, but people who think that they can change. So, like, let's say, a guy doesn't want to be friends with girls because he can only see them sexually, and if he ain't fucking around with them, if he ain't hitting, he ain't fucking friends with him, right?
Yeah.
But that girl, like, still tries to give attention and try to show up and try to do all these things. It's like they're trying to change the mind of that fucking person. It's like it'll never happen. It'll never happen.
Those guys, those women who leave the relationship and 2 months later you're asking her why was she with him if she knew he was like this? Well, I thought I could change him.
I thought I could change him. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what you're talking about.
Well, that's why girls. That's always the theory about why girls want the asshole, right? Yeah. Because if she changes him, it's a victory for her. She can go around and parade that shit for a long ass time. She,
Don't
see what I did.
Don't fucking try.
See what I did? I softened him up, girl. Da da da. Right? That's the idea. That's the idea. And then what happens is when he reverts back to his old shit, and he is an asshole again.
Oh my god, I can't believe
Oh my god, what did I do wrong? Oh my god, I'm terrible.
I never thought you would do that to me, bitch. You found me selling crack on 83rd Street. What the fuck do you mean you never thought I would do that shit?
Right, bro, right.
What the fuck do you mean? So you met me at a strip club. What the fuck do you mean you didn't think I'd do that shit?
Do you understand the brain is fully developed by 25? I've already made up my mind, ho. I've already made up my mind. I'm going to do what I want.
Yeah. The change me thing blows my mind. Like women that you're digging this relationship and things are going well. We're 2, 3, 4, 5 months in, and you start doing dropping these little hints like, oh, I bought you these shirt, I bought you these jeans, I bought you this. Like, bitch, that's cool. You're buying me clothes, but buy me this, this, and this. I don't want your fucking skinny jeans and Izod polo. Like, fuck out of here.
We're all
baggy jeans and big t-shirt.
Exactly, dude. You dressed like me. No, real shit.
Like
no,
niggas.
It's exactly. No, the thing is,
you gotta have somewhere to tuck the gun.
We're all gonna agree on this, but on that, I mean, like we just talked about. But I would like to throw a slight bone to the women, just to say that there are people who. It's not that they change as people, but like I've seen people who have they've done some really crazy shit, and they meet a chick who brings out the better side of them, and they really do their best to put their best foot forward, and it definitely makes them a much more.
But
easier
that's
person
different.
to
The
be
guy
around.
has to decide that
Right,
is
but
a
that's
good
my,
thing
that's
for
my
him.
point, though.
He has
but
to
that's my point.
choose.
He has to decide it. But the thing that encouraged him to do it was a female. Like I said, pussy is power. Pussy makes the world go round. And I'm here to
Sure.
tell you that it definitely can encourage a person to be a much more.
But what if it just
personable
happened
person,
to
if you
be a homie? A homie that, like, you know, went through some really tough shit, transformation, probably been through prison a lot. He comes into his life. He goes, yo, blah, 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 yo, you know, straighten up. And he ends up straightening up because of his homie, because of, you know, being inspired by his homie.
That too.
I feel like
that too. I think that happens, though. That happens a lot.
And
bro.
that
Like,
happens. That happens.
That happens
exactly.
all
Yep.
too often. Like, especially like what you said about getting out of prison, dude. You went to, especially for, you remember those people that Barack Obama was freeing? For pretty much, they went to jail in the 80s, and the only reason they were in jail because they sold pounds of weed, right? Like those guys, right? These guys really didn't do anything wrong, right? They got out of jail, and it's like they're mad at the system, they're mad at the world, and they run into like maybe a young dude, maybe an older cat, whoever, who influences them. Like, dude, you had a shitty life, but dude, you are fucking made in the sun right now. Go, weed is legal. You know all about weed. Go make a business. Go to Colorado. Go to Oregon. Go do something with yourself. You have your life ahead of you. Make it happen. And that, for some people, it's like, fuck you. But other people, it's like, you know what? He's right. And I'm going to I'm trying to turn my life around. Perfect example of it, Judge Mathis, right? The guy sold crack. Guy was shooting people. He was the gangster of the gangsters. Now this nigga's got a court show. Or had a court show. I don't watch TV anymore. But you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of success stories.
You know you've seen Judge Mathis before.
Oh, I love Judge Mathis when I used to watch TV.
Judge Mathis is the shit.
Yeah, it is.
Judge Mathis and Judge Joe Brown.
If you can, bro, all y'all go on your YouTubes and type in "crackhead mom in court." That is the funniest fucking shit I have seen. Like from the court show, crackhead mom.
Go watch Judge Mathis fucking grill Wendy Williams too on her show. I'll never forget hearing
for
that
real?
live on air. It's
I gotta
juicy.
check that shit out.
He was calling her a cokehead and everything right on live on the radio. It was so
Yo,
great.
I
It
swear
was
to God,
so great.
Greg Mathis will call somebody a crackhead in a minute. No reason. He will call somebody a
That's
crackhead.
like,
Damn,
Play it,
bro.
right?
Oh,
There shouldn't be any copyright with that. Let's see. Let's
Yeah, go
it right
play
now.
that shit. That should be entertaining.
please.
Which one is it? Judge Mathis versus
Was it
Wendy
Mathis or
Williams?
was it Joe Brown? Yeah, I think it was. And Wendy Williams.
Either one would be funny. Joe Brown was retarded too.
Man, Joe Brown
it
was
was
going through
Joe
some
Brown-
shit there for a minute when he was getting mad. Like people thought he had like showing up with just hammered off his ass. Got himself in trouble.
He was getting drunk.
Yeah,
Got a
boy.
wrist
He
or
was getting-
something or
he was
something.
getting drunk on the
Oh,
bench.
speaking of people showing up drunk off their ass. Did you see the whole scandal around Janine Pirro?
No.
She was broadcasting from her house because of this coronavirus shit. Well, Fox ended up pulling the show a little earlier because they thought she was intoxicated on air. I'm like, hell yeah, these motherfuckers at home chilling. They're about to go on live and they just tossing it back, baby. Just
letting it go. Letting it go, motherfucker.
I love that, dude. Dude, TV and radio literally just turned into the internet. Like what the internet's been doing for years. people broadcasting from their houses. It's fucking insane.
Before we went on air, I was showing the fellas a prank of dudes hacking into Zoom conferences for class. There's a funny one going around too, if you can find it. I don't know if it was a college class or just like a big conference call meeting, but somebody who was doing it on their phone and they weren't 100% sure like how Zoom worked or something, or they didn't realize Zoom was video. And dude started like getting undressed, just dick swinging everywhere. Like, people on the conference call were like, they stopped mid-sentence. Homies just got his dick dangling from the rafters, just like in this conference call with all his coworkers, just balls and dick. Just like, yo, come on, dude. Like, you gotta know.
Fuck with you.
You gotta know what's going on.
Oh shit!
You gotta know what's going on.
Hey Adam, by the way, you got me listening to one of your guys. I never listened to him before I started talking to you. Ralphie May.
Oh, Ralphie May.
Oh, that fat motherfucker.
I started listening to Ralphie May. Yo,
Rest in peace.
You know, yeah, R.I.P.
All
Definitely.
of his
G.
stand-ups are good.
Yo, that thing he did about going to the gay wedding and sitting down with his son. That shit
Yes,
was great.
yeah.
The transvestites got dicks, daddy. That shit was work. Oh my god. Oh, Ralphie, man. Yeah, that was funny. He is a pretty fucking funny guy. And it's good to hear about really good comedians, because most comedians people suggest to me are stupid.
This thing is like 15 minutes long. Does it start right
Shout
off
out to the
bat,
same.
Dan?
Yeah, it starts off right there, baby. Oh, he just went right in.
This is somebody else's channel, so they might have something.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
What happened was, when she picked the red card, I showed her. I said, you know more about the streets than me now. I'm out the streets and you in it. Because she was right and I was wrong with the 3-card money.
If I had some cards, I would ask you to do that too. I don't feel as if there's anything wrong with that, Judge,
No,
because
let
you
me
know
out
why?
the streets.
Well,
I'm through with the
I want to
streets.
talk with you because here on this show, whether it's TV or radio, one thing that Wendy Williams does is keep it real with her audience. Now, my audience knows all about me and what
can't
I've been
stand her
through. And what
voice.
they
Ugh.
don't know, I go
voice
into
is kinda,
explicit
yeah.
details in my book. Now, that might not be true according to you about this woman that allegedly you slept with. You allegedly
Wendy, I don't
got her
know
pregnant.
her.
Listen to
Got her pregnant?
let me draw up the skeleton,
read that
Judge,
part.
and
I
then
didn't
you
read that
fill
part.
in the meat.
Wendy, I didn't read that part. Now you making that up.
Okay, let me
Now
draw
you
up.
and WBLS about to be sued for defamation. You gonna make some stuff
Okay,
up here
Judge,
that
you
wasn't
are-
even
You gonna make
alleged.
some stuff Okay.
Now, that's called
All right.
defamation.
All right.
That's called defamation, Wendy.
Okay.
She did not allege that.
All right, look.
I'll tell you what she alleged, and it wasn't that.
All right, you tell me what she alleged,
She
Judge,
alleged
in
that-
all of your
she
anger.
alleged that I'm not angry.
Yes,
no.
you are.
She
Yes,
had-
you are.
I'm not
I
angry.
can't
She
stand
said
her.
that she had an encounter with me where I was
Of the-
getting high.
Doing
and that-
cocaine.
and- yeah, doing
Brought to you
cocaine,
by
which you've been addicted
Classic
to most of your
Throwback
life.
TV.
You're addicted to
You're a cunt.
And all these days you're missing at work. And going
Okay.
in and out of the bathroom.
Yo, did you hear what he just said?
I don't want to give that guy credit anymore.
No, what?
But yeah, Judge Mathis goes off on her.
Dude, yeah, send me that. 'cause
I can't
need to
stand
hear-
Wendy Williams, by the way. Like, fucking.
Yeah, that's not the one
ripping
who
ass
farted
on
on.
here,
That's not the
bitch.
one who farted. Yeah, that is the one who farted.
Yeah,
right?
it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, hey, yo, send me that if you can, bro. Just drop that in the comfortably poor chat.
Yeah.
I don't. I hate how I don't like her, but I also don't hate her. Like I kind of have not really a soft spot for her, but more so for the people that I grew up listening to. Like she was a big staple in New York, and my aunt would listen to her every afternoon. So whenever she would pick us up from school, she was listening to Wendy. And then I was listening to Angie Martinez on Hot 97. And then I was, listening to Elvis in the morning. And so, like, I have kind of a soft spot for her, but she is a mean-spirited, terrible fucking person, dog.
Well, you know what it is, dude.
Like-
Honestly, there are people who are just pieces of shit.
And then there are people who just display cunt behavior. And I think Wendy Williams displays cunt behavior. You know what I mean? Now,
I
here's the
agree
thing.
with that.
I don't hate her. I don't know that I hate her, but I know that I don't really like her cunt behavior. But I really don't know anything about her. The only thing I know about her really is that she gets on television. She farted on television. She denied it, which is stupid.
I read her book. I read a lot of people's books that are in the radio industry, just because I just love that grind and I love to read that story. And so I read her book, and she did have a major coke issue, and she did this stuff was transparent in the book. I will give her that credit. But again, I also don't like. There is to this media shit. There is so much integrity you must hold. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when you build a name, when you build a name for yourself that's about fucking scandals, it's just, Wendy's known for talking about people's business and scandals and shit. And I just feel like that really takes away from your value. It takes away from everything that you have worked hard for. And I don't think that's how people look at her. That's just how it is, unfortunately. And I never wanted that type of career. I don't want a career where people are like, he has to draw up rumors and he has to say shit about famous people in
just
order
making
for
up bullshit, basically.
In order for people to listen to you.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
I hate people
you're
like
gonna
that
put this narrative out there of that's one thing of media, but there are some credible sources where people are debunking stories, and making sure that they tell the truth about stories. Shout out Gossip Cop. Gossip Cop is one of the websites I used to use.
If that's
a
where
lot.
you want to, there's a lot of people on YouTube that do this, right? That's how they get their money, whatever, build their channel. If you're doing that, do your research. I don't want to follow somebody or watch somebody or listen to somebody that is just making some shit.
Is giving you false information.
And I feel like
just
Wendy
to draw
Williams
up the
does
clicks.
that. Like you were saying, that's her go-to move is well, I heard this. Somebody told me this. Bitch, do your research. You got a fucking staff now. Somehow you've become fucking famous.
You have producers, you fucking bitch.
Yeah, use them.
You had somebody on your staff. Charlemagne used to work for her show in the mid-2000s.
Did he really? Huh.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I never knew that.
He started right with her for no pay. That was his exposure. That was some of his exposure in the New York market. And it was no pay, but they gave him a place to stay. So he stayed with them, and he saw how her husband was very abusive. So honestly, again, this is why I also feel like sometimes, when you know that there's some other shit going on, you really can tell that she's trying to do the shit that she's doing because she's hurt. She's trying to hurt others and make up shit about other people because she is going through a shitty time.
Well, that's kind of a thing that people in that position do, right? People try to reflect shit onto other people. Isn't that kind of a known?
And what's going on in their lives?
There's
actually there's a term for it. It's called self-projection.
Who would have thought?
Self-projection.
But yeah, keep it pretty fucking simple. But
Yeah.
it sounds like that's exactly what she's doing, basically.
For sure.
She's
But
a fucking basket case.
That is easy money. If you can get yourself into a position where you can talk into a microphone, be syndicated, and all you have to do is just say shit about celebrities and people are going to be there, that's fucking easy. That's easy money. So that leads me to the question for you guys. Sure. What's the easiest money you ever made? I know. What was your dope hustle? What was your... It could have been a momentary thing. It could have been something throughout school. You know, I had niggas in school selling fucking candy bars. There was them niggas with the candy boxes. They would buy the shit from fucking Costco for like $15-$20. Sell each fucking candy bar for $1, and that's it, baby.
So when I was in high school, I worked at a grocery store, basically all through high school. And this is back when you had to count bottles by hand. They didn't have the like machines that you just pop the cans and shit into. So you had to count them by hand. And a lot of states had a limit on how much you could get. So in Oregon, it was $7.20. You couldn't bring in more than $7.20 worth of bottles. So I would have people that I knew come in and bring like a bag or two of bottles, and I'd just write them the ticket for $7.20. And we would do that a couple times throughout the day, throughout my shift. And if I'm 15 years old, you know, just getting an extra $10 at the end of the day, you know, go buy a sack and a soda, whatever it may have been. That was good enough for me. So I'd have people come in, write them the $7.20. I'd take like $5. They'd get $2.50, whatever, $2.20 off the top for them. Just for all they had to do was bring the cans in, and you know, they're making $10. I'm making $20, and we keep it moving. And you know, doesn't hurt anybody.
Little hustle, ain't
Just
nothing.
fucking write a couple extra tickets. And then I'd go to a different store. Like, just put a couple tickets in my pocket. I'd go to a store half a mile away, and just cash the ticket there. Because it was a chain, so they all used the same tickets. And,
I think
that was a good hustle back in high school.
That's some, I knew people who did shit like that. No, that's slick, dude. No, honestly, that's what it is. I mean, the slick. I think probably the dopest little hustle I had was probably because I already had like the supply on hand because I like to collect them. And I'm talking about walkie-talkies and like radios, CB radios and shit. Well, I went to one of these events or whatever where everybody, just a bunch of fucking teenagers and shit. You know how teenagers are. Everybody's running around doing their own thing or whatever. Well, I wasn't even trying to do this. I was like, dude, look, I met up with this guy and he was real fucking cool and shit. We were supposed to keep in contact. But I don't remember what the fuck we were doing. I think we were supposed to be like sneaking around in girls' rooms and shit or some shit. And I was like, yo, you could be my lookout. And he's like, yeah, you can listen out for me or whatever the fuck. And I gave him a Motorola walkie-talkie. And I had a Motorola walkie-talkie of my own. I'd brought about 15 or 20 of them with me. I love those things. I loved them because you could listen to all types of shit. You could hear all types of shit, and they went up to like 30 or 40 miles, bro. Like, I mean, I was tuned in. I was a walkie-talkie fanatic, bro. Like, I used to pick on gangbangers on walkie-talkies and shit, like while they ducked through. So, like, yeah, dude, that shit was funny as shit. But dude, I gave him one, and I had one, and then people started hearing us fucking talk on him and shit. And like because this was also kind of a computer, like a technology thing. So like we were going to computer classes and shit, and like I would hit him up on the walkie-talkie, like, yo, I'll meet you by so and so for whatever reason. And someone was like, yo, what's that in your hand? Like, where'd you get that shit? Because it made the noise and shit, and it looked cold. In a time where most people didn't really have, I mean, people had phones, but not a lot of people did. And they're like, yo, what the fuck you get one of those things from? I was like, I mean, I got tons of
This was still using original transmission.
Phones, right?
What'd you say?
This is full on walkie-talkies, not like chirp phones, right?
No. These are like walkie-talkies. There's no phone. There's no phone at all.
Okay.
These are Motorola, Cobra, Uniden.
Gotcha.
Bell South. Yeah, these walkie-talkies. So I had it, and the guy loved it. And he was like, where do I get one? I was like, well, I'm not gonna give you one. I'll show you something. He's like, I'll buy one off of you. I was like, wait, what? You'll buy a walkie? Okay, how much do you want to buy it for? And he's like $30. I'm like, how about, do you know anyone else who wants to buy walkie-talkies? Because I got a few of them. And then he brought a walkie-talkie. I think he actually ended up buying for like 25 or whatever, 20 or 20, some shit like that. He bought it for 20 or 25, and then he brought his girl and like two other dudes through. They bought like two more. Before I knew it, I didn't have any walkie-talkies except the one that I had in my hand that I was talking to old dude with. But the fucked up thing was I had to sell them chargers and batteries too. Dude, like
So wait,
that was the thing.
Explain walkie-talkies to me because I didn't really, I didn't fuck with.
So
When you
walkie-talkies.
bought-
Sorry.
Let's say you bought up 20 of these things and you sell off 18 of them. Do these people have to? Do you have to set the frequency? How
Well,
are you
so it
selling
depends on-
yours and them not interacting with your conversations?
It depends on the walkie-talkie. There were some really advanced ones where you could set up your own. You could set up frequencies and talk on different frequencies, but most of them actually came at a preset frequency. But the way you talk to people without interrupting really was you talked on different channels. Each channel kind of did its own thing. So like one frequency might have 300 channels. Another frequency might have 30 or 40 channels. But whatever it was,
So kind
if
of like
you guys-
CB radios.
they kind of were CB radios. You could listen to CB radios on them. It didn't mean you could talk to the people who had CBs, but you could listen to them. If you had some more advanced ones, the ones that I got like later in life, you could talk to the CB radio people also. But the major difference between walkie-talkies and CB radios were range. The walkie-talkies didn't have that greater range. Now, one thing that you could do, one thing that you had better be careful not to do also is to not broadcast on channels where the prison guards are. Because there was a prison and there were prisons close to like this location and shit. And you didn't want to fucking broadcast on that because, you might get the wrong type of attention. But yeah, no, they were fucking great. They came out of the box. Some of them you use, normal AA, AAA, whatever. Others, you would just plug into like a box to recharge and shit. And that's why I said, like, when I started selling them and shit, I didn't realize that like later on they were gonna have to come back and get batteries and shit. So yeah, no, it was fucking crazy. But yeah, I had a lot of different.
That's a good
I had a
hustle, though.
Radio Shack. I had a Radio Shack brand walkie-talkies and shit. But yeah, I sold off.
I remember seeing them. Like Best Buy, Circuit City. Shit like
Circuit
that.
City was my shit for walkie-talkies.
But I never really thought about getting them. I know when the chirp phone started being a thing, the walkie-talkie did kind of blow up because there were companies like I think Sprint. That was like their big thing. They made a big push on walkie-talkies. Like if you were to get a walkie-talkie, it was like Sprint. At least out here in the Northwest, Sprint was the spot to go to. They would, they did the whole, here's 2 walkie-talkies, for $49.99, whatever, and then you pay like $10 a month for whatever. But it was something that.
You know that like Nextel kind of came up with, like they pioneered the chirp feature.
Nextel, that's the one I was thinking.
Nextel pioneered the chirp feature. And then from there, a bunch of other people wanted to fucking piggyback on that. So U.S. Cellular, that regional thing in the Midwest, they came out with their direct talk, and then Sprint came out with their own walkie-talkie little thing, whatever the fuck they called it. And then before you knew it, I think Verizon had their own version of it. Talkback or something stupid. They all had stupid, but essentially it was their own spinoff of Nextel's thing. You know what I'm saying?
Where you at?
Where you at? Exactly.
Right,
And that was
right.
that. And I went from walkie-talkies, from having those and CB radios and stuff like that, into having like 4 or 5 Nextel phones. Or actually, no, I was cheap. Boost Mobile. I had Boost Mobile at the time. Actually,
No, that was the thing. The Boost Mobile, that was the nigga phone.
Boost Mobile. Yeah,
Ours was Cricket.
I never went
Cricket
into
was the
fucking
cheap.
Nextel.
You knew.
I had Cricket for 2 years.
Cricket.
I had Cricket for 2 years. I had Cricket for 2 years. Yeah, I did. I don't know. That was my hustle.
I'll never forget. So my one wild hustle, and it was some blind nigga shit. I love taking blind people money, especially when nothing costs me. So one
NFB.
year I was still in the system. I was still in the commission for the blind system, and whoops. They may or may not have sent me 2 Victor Reader streams, plus the one that I had already had open.
You stupid.
Well, I discovered this shit about a month or 2 prior state convention.
Really bad one.
So I was going to state convention. Bro, that weekend I made $300.
And that shit's expensive.
That weekend I made $300.
So,
I put $300 in my pocket. Nothing.
300.
Nothing, baby.
For free.
Another fucked up one for you guys.
Free.
Man, people are going to think of me as such a horrible person. Okay.
Nah, bro. Listen.
So,
Is that my
I got it.
internet?
I got some
Why are we fucking-
$400 beats
when I was
for free.
When I was going blind and I was learning everything, you know, at the Commission for the Blind out here.
Dan, are you hearing this?
Yeah.
What's going on?
What?
I was blowing out my bowl.
Or is it just me? I think it might be me. Never mind. I might have to turn this off for a second. I might have to mute my microphone or something. It's internet stuff. Sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
Okay. The beauty of doing remote broadcasting. People.
Fuck it.
So yeah, I was going blind. This was early 2000s, 2002, 2003. So I'm like 21, 22 years old. Still kind of borderline a piece of shit, but I've kind of straightened my shit up a little bit. And at the Commission for the Blind, they had like a snack bar. And the lady that ran the snack bar was blind, deaf, and in a wheelchair. And so what you do,
yes.
she had all of her snacks and sodas and everything like that. She had some like sandwiches and stuff delivered every day. But everything had a tag by it. And it was done in Braille. And so it would tell you like how much this was. So you would take the item like a Snickers bar and you take the tag and you hand it to her. So she knew whatever it was that you were getting was 65 cents. And unless you gave her, and next to her at her little register, she had other tags that said $5, $10, $20, so on and so on. If you just gave her the tag that said how much the item was and like a regular dollar, she always assumed you were just going to give her $1 and she would give you your 35 cents. So what I started doing was getting like a candy bar and giving her $1, but telling her that I handed her a 20 with one of the tags for the $20. So she had the $20 thing. So she thought I was handing her a 20. She was giving me $19.35 back. Like, so I was getting a Snickers bar and 19 extra bucks in my pocket. I was such a piece of shit. Let me tell you guys this too. So, fuck you off, Brando. I heard the disappointment in your voice. Shut up.
He just got dad. He just went in dad mode.
Let me.
Okay, I'm not talking.
Before I got connected with the Commission for the Blind, and it took me a good 6-7 months to go totally blind. So there's a point where I'm losing my sight, but I can still see. Not far, maybe like 15, 20 feet in front of me, 25 feet in front of me. My brother comes to visit from Hawaii. He's living out in Hawaii. He brings his girl out here. We're going up to the mountain. She's never seen snow before. Well, the way to the mountain, you have to go by the Oregon guide dog school out here. We have a guide dog school out here.
And boring, yeah.
And so they do a lot of training in the downtown Gresham area where I live now. So as we're driving down the main street, we come to a stoplight, and there's 4 or 5 people with guide dogs training together, and I'm in the back seat, and I'm visually impaired. I'm not blind yet. Excuse me. I'm visually impaired, and I have a box of Wheat Thins in the back seat with me. I roll down the window and I start throwing Wheat Thins at the guide dogs, trying to distract them to see like if I can get any of the guide dogs to take the crackers. I'm like trying to get their attention. None of them broke though. Good dogs. None of them broke. Good dogs. They had great training. That was. I'm such a piece of shit. I'm such a piece of shit.
Oh, it's so wonderful.
You need a type of help.
3 months later, I was totally blind. Karma's a bitch.
Ain't it? Brawless.
That's so fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I used to go on joyrides and the fucking kids. That's probably the worst thing I did with it as far as just people with disabilities. Joyrides, fucking riding around the cabin in this fucking kid's automatic wheelchair while he's sleeping. Just chilling, fucking just hopping in the chair and just fucking rolling it around. Just going at high speeds in that motherfucker. Just like,
he's waking up
shit.
like, why is my wheelchair dead? I charged it overnight. What the hell?
He can't reach over the arm bar of his bed. He's going to fall out.
Jesus. Oh, man. Yeah, that's good times. What a piece of shit we are. Let's jump into some Would You Rathers. We got about 30 minutes left. 844-997-0775. Hashtag Comfortably Poor on Twitter. You want to talk about anything that we've talked about so far? You got some questions? You got some something that's pondering the question, of life? Hit us up on the phone lines and let us know.
Yeah.
So this was kind of a
got a
fun
couple
one
good
to
ones
think
too,
about.
yeah.
You're going to introduce yourself to your parents, or excuse me, your girlfriend's parents for the first time. So you go to the house, she introduces you, the father comes over, gives you an auxiliary cord to plug into your phone. What's the first song that you would play for your girlfriend's father?
Ooh.
Yeah. That's a good question.
Bitches ain't shit but tricks and hoes.
Yeah. So my shit was gonna be some ignorant ass shit.
I'm just kidding, though. I'm not serious about
Kill you, Eminem.
Violence. Jesus.
My name is.
Yeah. Okay.
You know why I say
No,
these
I'm kidding,
things?
I'm kidding,
This
I'm
lady
kidding.
Screams,
Be
you
some
creeping in
juvenile
shady
type shit.
dreams.
Back that ass up.
Back
got
that
hoes.
ass up.
Area
Back that
codes.
ass up.
Area codes.
It all depends. It all depends. What kind of dad is it? Is it a
Yeah,
cool
what kind of dad
dad
are we
or is it
talking
like a
about?
dad
Yeah.
rock dad?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's your girlfriend, so
Because if it's like a
white,
white dad, I'm probably gonna
Yeah.
play him some Queen. He's probably gonna jerk his dick off. He's probably gonna be really happy. I'll pick something from Queen or some shit, or Journey, or the Beatles, right? If it's some white ass dad, but if it's a Spanish nigga,
know your
I'm
audience,
bringing
right?
out one of
like
the-
that's the go-to. Know your
yeah,
audience.
you got to know your audience. Because if it's a Spanish dad, I'm bringing out one of the classic salsa records, nigga, and we drinking.
Anthony Santos.
We drinking. Yeah, if it's a Dominican dad, I'm playing some old ass bachata, bro. Straight up old Anthony Santos,
Hey.
fucking Aventura from the late 90s, nigga, chilling.
Like 97. No, yeah.
Yeah, nigga, Romeo Santos sound like a little gay boy.
No. Fucking, I don't know, bro. I don't know, because I would judge it on the situation, but I don't know, bro. I probably would play something like So Cold by Breaking Benjamin just to throw him off. Because he's going to look at me and he's going to expect something. I know what he's going to expect.
Oh,
looking
that's
at
a
me, right?
good one.
And then I'm just going to flip the script on him and be like, yo, I'm going to turn on some hard ass, like some shit with one of those niggas with that awesome melodic voice
That's
that makes
true.
you get chills and shit. Yeah, throw that shit on.
Yeah,
That's true.
that'd be good too.
But see, I think though too, one of the biggest things that I really fuck with is like certain types of jazz stuff. So depending on the person, I might throw that
I gotta
on
be in the
to-
mood for that.
that'll be my curveball for them is jazz. They're gonna expect
Yeah.
the Spanish nigga to listen to hip hop, to listen to Spanish music, to even listen to rock. Like, there's a lot of fucking Spanish kids that listen to rock. It's crazy shit. Even so much so that there's a fucking genre called Spanish rock.
Jesus,
I know a girl from
Swear to
there's so
Uruguay
many
who likes
genres of
rock.
music now. All right, this is a good one. I I went and talked to my lady about this one because I was like, oh, this is a doozy. Okay. What would you do? Would you rather sit down with your parents and watch every sexual encounter that you have ever had, or sit down by yourself and watch
every encounter they've had
of your parents when they conceived you, the night they conceived you.
I would actually like the first one. I'm doing the first one. That's what we will do.
You're gonna sit down and watch every sexual encounter that you've ever had with your parents.
With my parents
in the same room with you.
Yep. Now they're not gonna be able to walk away from that, normal people, but that's just. You're gonna leave your parents asking where they went wrong with you. Where they went wrong in life.
I'm trying to protect my mom's heart. I don't want her to know that I've done some of the stuff to women that I've done. Okay.
So you're gonna watch your parents banging one out?
Yeah, you know why? Because they're human.
I feel like I heard it enough.
So it's not
just putting a picture to the sound is no big deal now. I heard it enough growing up. Like,
nah, see, I never even heard it, but like to me,
I heard a lot of it.
Wait, you never heard
that are
it?
not supposed.
My mom was banging.
And I never, not my mom. No.
I'm just be honest.
Oh
yeah,
my God.
No, thank God.
I lived in a small ass apartment, so I heard.
I didn't have to live in a small ass apartment. I put my ear to the door.
This fucking wait.
So wait, why didn't you go with the later option?
Because just like he said, it's not that big of a deal. Like, why would I need to? I already have the picture of what it probably horribly looks like in my head. I don't need to.
Yeah, but I don't need my mom seeing me flip a girl over or fucking put her on her back with her head hanging off of the bed and me fucking her face.
I want my mom to know that
she doesn't need to see that.
She raised a warrior penis. I have well with the Collins name. Believe me, Mom, we are known across the world.
Believe me, Mom. I mean, you walked in on me having sex. That should have been enough.
She's walked in.
Believe me, Mom.
Watch this shit.
Are we just gonna skip over that he said he was putting his ear to his door of his mom banging one out?
I listened.
How intrigued were you?
Well, I was intrigued.
I've only been intrigued to hear my friends. Like, I put my ear up to the door to hear.
Because here's the thing, right? Like,
my friend Tanisha fucking.
I didn't know what the fuck I was getting into. Like, all I heard was boom, 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 boom. It was rhythmic. I wasn't sure if it was music or if
it was rhythmic. And then he thought it was a bass drum.
Yeah, I didn't know what the fuck. So I went to go investigate. Like, I'm not a person who's just going to sit on my hands. So I went to go investigate, and I listened, and then I heard these other noises, and it's like, yeah, what the fuck? But it took me a while to understand what I was hearing. I didn't know what I was hearing. I had to actually put all that together, and then I heard a few other people do it.
There's nothing worse than when you start figuring it out, what's going on. Like, as a young kid, I didn't know, but when I got older and I started realizing what it was, and then you start hearing fucking skin slapping and shit like that.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, this is what are we doing here?
It starts to make you, like, I don't know. It got to the point where, like, at some point you realize that this is obviously something that happens. I mean, I'm not saying that it always did, but a lot of times it happens after dark when everyone's supposed to be asleep. So it comes in your head that this is probably private, probably something I shouldn't be listening to. You get a little bit older and it's like, Mom, do you really have... Okay, all right, fuck it. I'm just going to put my headphones on. You know what I mean? I'm going to put on a CD or something. You know what I mean? Like, and then...
Brando seems like the type that as he got older and he's got a girl over, his mom's got a dude over, stepdad, boyfriend, whatever. It's like... Yeah. She starts boning and he's like, oh... Yeah, I got you beat. Checkmate.
Real story.
Let me show my mom what I got. Come on.
Let's shit. Go. That's some real shit. Now, I'm not going to say that ever happened, at least not that I can remember, but yeah, that would have been me if put in that situation.
All right. Okay, so Brando's sitting down and watching all his... Plus, I feel like Brando's the type that would get off on rewatching his tapes. Like, he'd be taking notes, like, I loved how I did that right there, but you know what? I could really tweak that if I did this next time.
I can angle her better this next time.
Exactly.
And then you just clip it out and you
breaking
send
down.
it
It's
to
like-
her like, hey baby, you know
It's
what?
like game tape for a football player. or a
This
basketball
angle
player.
here, I'm not really down with it. I think we gotta improve this shit.
Yeah.
But my mom just got done
Right.
seeing this shit, so I just wanted to put that in your head. Next time I put you in this angle, and you know why, is because I analyzed it with my mom watching.
Yo, hey, let me tell you about this new technique to hold the legs open, right? You gotta come. You know what? We'll talk about that later. Let's not. What's the next
give me
one?
that later, bro.
Yeah, I got you.
All right,
Get me with a blueprint.
girlfriend with a hot ass and sideburns, or great tits and a thin mustache.
Did you say great
Would you
ass
rather?
and sideburns,
Yep.
or great tits and a mustache?
Fuck.
Give me the sideburns.
Give me the sideburns. Give me the sideburns. Yes,
Like a
yes.
Give me the
little hit
sideburns,
mustache.
bro. Give me the sideburns. Because this is the thing. I like to kiss. And if I kiss her and I feel that mustache, I might break her jaw for no reason. Other than
Yeah. I'd say the same thing
Sideburns.
because
But at least
I feel like you
Go
can convince yourself that the sideburns is kind of like long hair, you know?
Long
It's
hair,
no different
yeah.
than if like her hair was in front of her ear or something. Like, you know,
yeah.
it's just part of her long hair.
But see, here's the thing. I like titties. Though. I like in my later years. I much prefer titties over ass nowadays.
I love a thick
I
ass.
didn't used to be like that.
when
I
did
didn't
you
used to be
when
like
did
that.
when did that go? When did that change for
Yeah,
you?
'cause
and
you
what
probably can
was it a
remember when I
specific
was all
woman
ass
or
crazy.
was it a just life?
It was. No, it was. It was a specific. Well, everything started changing for me around Jocelyn. If anyone remembers Jocelyn,
Okay, yeah.
around Jocelyn, everything changed. I wasn't into ass anymore. I wasn't into thick women as much. Like I got real, like, cause again, you have to understand. I tell the story so many times. Jocelyn was not a person I was supposed to like. I was supposed to fuck her and never see her again. But I'm trying to tell you, G, she took my hand, led me into a room, and yo, the rest is history. Like, she wasn't my type. But man, that's kind of why I am the way I am today. Like, I'm very flexible with the way women look. I wasn't supposed to get with a skinny chick who was like 5'8" with long hair and the model broomstick type. I wasn't supposed to be into that, but I was into that for like 3 years. So I don't know, bro. I got into titties because women with big titties seem to be fucking me the right way. I still like women with nice asses though. It's just not the way it used to be.
No,
I used to be
you just
crazy about
prefer. You just
ass.
prefer
Yeah.
a set of nice fucking thick tits.
Yes.
I like that. I'm with it.
Yeah, give me a set of nice cheeks. I just give me them cheeks all day.
There's
All day.
something so no, I agree, bro. There's something so motivating about a pair of fucking big old fucking cheeks.
Booty cheeks.
Just
booty
you know the
slapping.
I always bring this up. The triangles that meet where it meets the pussy, where it starts meeting
yeah.
the pussy, right?
Oh yeah. Yes.
That shit is a little fucking massager. That shit's a nice little fucking spot for the dick. That's a just the dick
can go to
rests
sleep
right
and
there.
just put
so
your dick right in
perfectly.
it. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, bro, it just rests so perfectly. Even when you're hitting it from the back,
Excuse me.
and you see how it just goes in, it's beautiful. It's like made for dick to go, just rest there.
It's made
The dick holder. The dick holder.
dick hole. That triangle with an ass.
Them
Comfortable point
triangles,
brings it to
bro,
you
where the
live.
ass meets. Oh, that shit like just massages the dick, bro. That's comfort.
Hey, yeah, we got to put that on the
I
shirt.
think I saw this on your Twitter, Dan, and it did make a great point. It was a great point. I think you retweeted somebody that it was it's so interesting that like just 20 years ago, the 90s, kind of mid 90s, chicks wanted the small ass, skinny little ass, but now it's like they see the black girl booty. They want that big booty. They're getting booty implants.
Well, let me say
They
something.
want
Well,
that thick.
And I think he's gonna say what I think.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
like,
say. Go ahead.
Black and Hispanic people never wanted that.
Boom!
think-
I was gonna nail
Like,
it right there.
Black and Hispanic people never
It
wanted
was
that little.
it was what
skinny
came it was what became commercialized, right? Because
Right.
what they were realizing was the tall, skinny, handsome black guy was going for the fat women, the thicker women. And so that started becoming the big trend. Then Jennifer Lopez became popular. And then after that, they started realizing, oh shit, Beyonce's got some cakes. And then fucking after that, everything was about the motherfucking booty, bro. And that's the thing. Like, in urban, which is pretty much saying nigga neighborhoods, that wasn't uncommon. Like, a girl with a fat ass was everything we chased. That Puerto Rican girl I went to school with, woo, mi mai, coño, esa vaina estaba más gorda que el diablo, coño. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit would make you go, ooh, like you would burr, like you were in the cold.
Yeah, literally, you would shiver.
You were fucking.
Like, polar bear.
The fuck did I just see? How is it that there is a long time it takes to get to the bottom of her back?
Right.
Oh, okay. And
yeah,
then that became popular, yo.
But see, for a lot of white people, that was just something that's new to you guys. Not you to you, Adam, probably, because you're not really white. But you know what I'm saying? Like, for most white people, like, there's like shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, Nicki went like, oh my God. And even Janet Jackson, and them chocolate cakes, baby, that shit right there made people think like, wait, well, you know, I don't really like big asses, but you know, Janet, she looked good. Beyonce look. People make exceptions for people that they really, really want to lick.
Want to lick? Yeah. It's true, though. The ass has become such a popular thing to have. Mm-hmm. The ass implants is kind of an interesting thing for some of these women to go
but
to.
See,
like, the fact that you want that fat ass so bad that you're willing to get some shit implanted in your cheeks, like, yo.
Yeah, just be happy with who you are. Just be happy.
Eat this pizza.
I need a real ass.
Stop just wanting to eat a salad and eat this fucking pizza with me and get that natural fat ass.
That's what I'm saying, baby.
Eat this bacon,
get some
bitch.
fat on that ass.
But
here's some waffles. Here's some muffins in the morning. Some bagels, baby.
Yeah.
Here's some rice and beans.
Eat.
Start fucking putting some weight on that ass.
There's something to keep in mind too about this. There are certain people who are not going to be. Look, I'm an ass connoisseur, bro. I'm an ass connoisseur from the old days. On I mean, it's okay to have nice hips. Most white women are the ones with the hips. You know what I'm saying? Like where you get that actual, like, that buttock gene, like the big, you know what I'm saying, the gravity defying watermelons that we're talking about, that lives in the Caribbean. And you can occasionally see it in white women because of either genetic mixing, genetic randomization, or whatever the fuck it might be. But typically, you see that in, you know what I'm saying, black and Latin women. But eating might not necessarily do it. Eating might make the parts of you that are genetically predisposed to be bigger. But if you want to get a nice ass, you're going to have to work on it. And you have to do things that target
squatting, baby. Women, get into the gym.
Squatting.
No laying around, all right?
Other leg exercises, heel sprints.
Get your fat fucking ass in the gym.
I like a little.
Does your fucking woman work out?
My lady?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she's not like hitting the gym hard, but we do we do shit.
Does she have the resting spot for your cock from the back?
Of course.
She got the dick holder.
Oh, she better. She's a mix. She's a white Mexican. She's a mix. She better fucking have that shit.
Exactly. She's
like
got
a little
more
taco for you.
weight, so yeah.
Yeah, baby.
She got the V from the back, V from the front. Love you, babe. Put all your shit out there like that, but
he's like, oh shit. She's not getting no pussy tonight. I'm not gonna be able to get my cock held tonight.
When I wanted to be a content creator.
Content indeed. This is content for real.
She's like, please just don't have me on the camera.
Oops.
Wouldn't dream of it.
Fuck it.
Did you have a couple of would you rathers or what ifs? Otherwise, we could probably.
Yeah, couple would you rathers, and I think this one definitely is we'll agree on. But I thought it was interesting. Would you rather manipulate time or be able to manipulate people's looks, personality traits, and abilities?
I want to go with time. I want to be able to manipulate time.
And I honestly thought the same thing. I don't really care how people think, look, or
Yeah, because I just
their
wouldn't associate
abilities,
with those
'cause
people.
it's-
I'll find the people that I do.
Exactly.
Associate with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, like, if I'm able to manipulate time, we know the endless possibilities
That'd be
of what
dope.
comes out of that.
That'd be so sick. Yeah, manipulate time all day. Not even.
Have we been looking at
not
the
even a
YouTube comments?
question.
Do we have
It's
any?
the normal crowd.
No, it's everybody. They're just commenting.
Stories,
They're just throwaway comments to a lot of the stuff that we're saying.
Oh, okay.
But shout out to a lot of you guys who are watching. Hannah, Nessa,
Big ups.
Shay, Sam, and to everybody else who catches this later, because I know that we get some views on these lives later. So if you guys do watch these when they're not live, thank you so much. I really appreciate that, for real.
And the Twitter is always there, and the same with the phone line. So don't hesitate to call later to leave your thoughts.
Yeah, the Twitter's always popping too, by the way. We're always trying to throw some stuff up there. Would you fuck a camel and nobody knows you fucked a camel? Or would you not fuck a camel and have everybody in the world think that you fucked a camel?
The second one. Let people think what they
Okay, so
want.
you wouldn't fuck
As
the
long
camel.
as long as you're okay knowing that you didn't do it, but the world knows
Exactly.
the things that
Because
you
I know
did.
reality. Because the thing is that it's kind of like that now. People think all types of stupid things about people that aren't true, right? Like I had a game I used to play back in like 2005, 2006. Maybe even earlier or later, either or. You know, I still do it to a certain degree. I'll start rumors about myself and record myself right before I start the rumor saying, this is so-and-so date, this is so-and-so, I'm about to do this, I'm about to tell so-and-so this for whatever reason, and we're going to have some laughs. In about 10 months or so, I'm going to play this recording to make everyone look stupid. I did stuff like that and spread all types of rumors about myself and then made people look so retarded when I pointed out the fact that I actually told the person who started the whole thing to tell them. So I know people believe stupid stuff that isn't true en masse. So no, as long as I know I didn't do it, that's all that matters. I know reality.
Man, that would be fun. I don't know why I never thought of doing something like that.
Yeah, you should. It's funny, dude. It's one of the funniest
See,
things.
I never thought it.
You can play people for such idiots, dude, and it always exposes the assholes that are true assholes, not the asshole friends, but the assholes.
See, I feel like I want to do it
always-
to the point of, hey, don't tell nobody, but I'm about to let you know, yada yada yada, and then see how long it takes for it to get back around to me.
And
I can know,
that's
bro, I came to
how
you
I
and
used to
told
do
you
it.
Not to. Yeah.
That's how I used to do it. And I would actually always fuck with people, even if I did tell 2 or 3 people. I knew the 2 or 3 people I told this one thing to. But I would tell each and every one of them,
Internet fucking up.
you're the only motherfucker that knows. If I find out that it came out, I know it was you. But I knew I told 2 or 3 other people, so I could just bang out them niggas out the way. I already know. It was one of you niggas. Somehow this shit went around, and if it went around in different
Keep that
circles
circle
too,
smaller.
I can already
Smaller
assess.
and smaller.
Holy shit.
Exactly. I can already assess, bruh. So just through one situation, I could just knock 3 niggas right out. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Fucking
That's the way to
beautiful.
All right.
Let's see what other ones I got. Hold on. I'll do one more. One more.
Adam, is he
right.
breaking up to you? Or is it just me?
No, it's just the way he's holding his mic because he's trying to hold the bong and the mic at the same time.
And a lighter.
And a lighter.
And the lighter.
And
Well, see, the thing is so,
read his
you know what's
laptop.
so crazy is you guys can't hear me that well. Like, you guys can't hear me as loud as the stream hears me because all this shit is so clear on the stream.
Oh, yeah.
And I hear what the stream hears, so that's why.
You know what would be a dope invention for a pothead? And maybe it's out there already. So, like, for something like this, you got a bong sitting on your desk, and coming off the top of the bong is a big-ass tube mouthpiece. It's kind of like those beer helmets. So then you put, like, a headpiece on. Maybe it's just, like, some headphones-looking thing. and it has like a mouthpiece on it. So you just gotta lean over, roast your bowl, and suck on that thing as it's like the mouthpiece as it's sitting on your head. So you don't have to hold the bong. The bong's just sitting there. You're just lighting it, pull.
You know what?
Awesome.
I'd be
It's like
totally
hands-free
down for
smoking.
that. I know that they have like,
It'd be hands-free smoking.
and the closest thing that I know about is like the gas masks, but where it's like,
Yeah, well, yeah. Gas mask.
you know,
Lit.
Dude,
so
I fucking-
high. Oh my God. I did a gas mask once in high school, and Lord of mercy. I believed in God for a minute. Holy shit.
dude, I'll never forget. So this was 10 years ago. It'll be. I went to a party in South
He's got
Jersey.
it down like an
and
anniversary. 10 years ago. This
No,
coming
because
July.
you know why? Because I started smoking pot. I know when I started smoking pot. And so I have a really good reference point of when a lot of things happened with pot, because until 2015, like 2015 is when I started smoking heavily, like every day. So it's for almost the past 5 years. So I can pretty much recall a good amount of the times that I had pot before then, But I went to this party. Not only did I fucking do this gas mask, I'm a fucking newbie at fucking pot, This probably was like a year and a couple months after I smoked pot for the first time. And so, like, I don't smoke pot. Well, I fucking did this gas mask. I remember doing that, and then I remember they were just passing. No, it was the gas mask, and then they were passing the bong around. Holy shit. I remember sitting down and just like,
So high.
You know that feeling that comes over your head, like it's just a different space. Your head's in a completely different space, and you feel it.
It's like you're above you looking down at yourself. Like, what?
Dude, it was definitely out of fucking body. That's for sure.
Hey, I don't know
That's
how new
for
this thing
fucking
is,
sure.
but I just saw it the other day when I was scrolling through stuff. Have you seen this new, like, what do they call it? It's like a frozen pipe or freezer pipe. And it's like a pipe with, what is it?
Probably like the gel sticks in there, maybe.
It's got like nitrogen or something in it, though. So
Yeah,
they say
it's the same thing they use for like the hookah hoses that do like the freeze shit, where you
that what
put
it
these
is?
like little, you put these little ice
they say
things
it's
that
like the cleanest, best hit ever. Like no burn.
I'm
Like,
sure.
So smooth. So like.
Oh,
I
I'm
got it.
sure on
I
the
had it.
throat it's beautiful.
I don't have it anymore. I had a bong that had an ice catcher that had a similar effect. I mean, I like that
I had
for
one
that
of those
reason.
out in Little Rock, which was cool, but I mean, it's pretty easy enough to kind of create your own ice cubes that are big enough just to drop down in the bong. But yeah,
What was the weed like in
trash,
I'm sure it was, baby.
trash.
I was about to say
ended
that,
up,
but that
like,
shit
the
was
last-
asshole.
The last 6 months or so that I was there, I ended up making a connection with the dude that I worked with, and he had straight gas, and it was good. But it was one of those things, is like, he knew I did, I knew he did, but it was like, we didn't talk a lot. He was like the security guard at my work. And so we didn't really connect until like I was like 6 months before I left. And then that's when I was like, man, if we would have known a year and a half ago, we could have been smoking every day. But it was just one of those things that we didn't really link up. I guess probably because it was like work, and we didn't think it was, I don't know, the right place to talk about it. But he had fire. Good.
See, that's fire to hear. That I love when that's how you know you're a legit weed smoker, and that's why I fuck with you, because you were trying to look for the good shit.
Of
Where you
course,
went.
yeah.
You knew
everywhere
what good
else,
shit was. You
what
weren't
I
gonna
did
accept
find
some
was
bad
tumbleweed shit. Yeah. Well,
But then again,
but
I mean, you
did.
came from the
I
West
did
Coast.
For like the first year,
I feel like
year and a
those.
half, I accepted bad shit.
You
But I
didn't
feel
have
like
a choice,
those
though. That's all you
coastal
had.
points, like East Coast, West Coast, you have more of the opportunity to define what is fucking shit weed to what is good weed. You know, I think it's that Midwest to South is where they have a really big problem.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I always had like 4 levels, pretty much 4 or 5 levels of weed growing up. And out of those 4 or 5, if you paid for good, you got
But I feel like
good.
some of the
And
big
if you
cities
didn't, then you didn't.
are pretty solid. So like
Yeah,
Chicago,
so
I
that's
think you can
that's
find
definitely
some good
excluding like a
shit.
Chicago, a New York, LA. Definitely,
Little Rock, Arkansas.
they fall with that. But Little Rock, Arkansas, and fucking Springfield,
crazy.
Yeah,
Missouri.
but you hang on, time out though. But you got to remember though, a lot of those little towns are getting their weed from Chicago or St. Louis. Like they're getting their pot from the growers or the dealer, probably mainly
little bit.
dealers. I mean, because I
Little Rock
knew
was tough,
like, my
though,
cousins that were
because
selling pot
they were
in
pretty
Chicago, they were
strong
shipping it
on
down to
shutting them
fucking Springfield, Carbondale, like little towns in Illinois and a few of the little towns in northern Missouri, in southern Wisconsin too, right? Like that's where the weed would go. Like if niggas ever got popped on the road with like 4 or 5 pounds in the trunk, that was because they were shipping it from Chicago to in a north or south direction. Like so, I don't know.
Right.
I think again, like I said, I always say Reggie, Mids, Dro, Kush. That's what it was growing up.
Reggie,
Reggie, Mids, Dro, and Kush.
and Kush.
That's what it was growing up. That's what it was. Now that
Wow.
doesn't. Now with our
Kush
knowledge
for
today,
us.
with our knowledge
Kush was
today and
good,
our
but
weed
Hydro was
education,
top-notch.
we just did not. We don't think like that today. We have strains, we have types, and we have different ways of growing and all that shit. But no one knew that back there, or at least only the growers and the big people knew that. The niggas that were smoking it, no,
Yeah,
you knew what it
the
was.
niggas that was smoking, they didn't give a fuck. They
Yeah,
were just
didn't
like,
give a fuck.
yo, this shit gets me
Reggie's like
fucking hot.
$15 an ounce. Mids, bit more. Dro is that official shit. You will get fucked up. Kush, oh my god, don't go home smoking that shit. You know what I mean? Like
You're gonna
Yeah,
get stuck
so-
on the couch,
Let's
nigga.
wrap up on this today. What's your guys' favorite strain?
oh my god, that's not something to wrap
you
up
got-
on. That's
you gotta
that's a
go
whole
to. It's your
conversation.
default.
That's a whole conversation. But my
It's a whole conversation.
But
Yeah,
I'm
if
gonna
you could
save
just
it for
throw one
Wednesday
out there.
Wednesdays-
I'll throw one
Wednesdays
out there.
live.
All right,
No.
throw one out there.
Wednesdays live.
But-
we'll have a.
but
we'll
throw
have a
one
good
out there.
But we will
And
throw
I'll
one
throw
out
one
there
out
for
there.
today. I'm gonna throw one out. Jack
Yeah.
Herrera. Jack Herrera.
Maui Wowie.
Okay.
Maui Wowie
I'm
is a
gelato.
fucking sativa, and I swear to God, that shit puts me on. That shit
love-
turns my living room into a hotel.
Yeah.
Into a hotel suite. The
Yeah, I love
sunshine
Maui Wowie.
feels like it's coming off of the beach on a Caribbean island. I
Putting
love
your
that
putting
fucking
your
strain
nose
so
in Maui
much.
Wowie is
Just
putting
like
your
one
fucking nose in a
descriptive
Hawaiian bitch's
paragraph.
bathing suit.
Dude, I love getting descriptive.
Yeah, mine's gelato. It's good. It tastes good.
I
and
hate
it gets
gelato.
me-
I hate
Gets
it
me
with a
to that
passion.
point
Gelato's
Love it.
terrible.
Interesting.
all day.
I'll never forget. I gotta talk about this one though, and one strain that hit you so strong that you love, not the one that you hated, because we've talked about ones that we've hated, not on the podcast, but Brando and I have had conversations about strains that we hated before, and which ones made us feel like complete shit. But which ones made you feel like, oh my fucking God, this is insane, but I love it so much and I want it again. So let's keep that for Wednesday as well. Wednesday, we're going live
Little teaser.
earlier. Remember that, guys. That's going to be at 12 p.m., so right at noon Eastern.
12 p.m.
It's
Eastern.
going to be at 9 Pacific, 9 a.m. Pacific, okay? So we go live 2 days out of the week now. You're going to get episodes Monday, Wednesday, and we're going to get something together for Friday. You guys have some content to look forward to as you're quarantining. You understand me?
Wait.
You got any questions or anything like that in between 844-997-0775. That phone line is always there. Drop your questions, drop your comments, whatever, at CPPod100 across all social media platforms. #ComfortablyPoor on Twitter. Fuck with us.
Yep.